Hey, what's up, guys? It's me, Corey Tenderson, and I know I've been gone for a while. I've been dealing with some stuff. I didn't want to have to do something like that again, going on a long thing like hiatus, but at least it wasn't 6 months this time. But anyways, I've come back to give my thoughts on something. And you're probably thinking, oh, his thoughts on like a really serious situation or thoughts on like something he's been dealing with. But no, I'm giving my thoughts on Halloween Ends, the most disappointing piece of shit, stupid thing I have ever watched. Holy fuck. If you don't know, I am a massive fan of horror movies, and I love the Halloween franchise. And I've really liked the new timeline they've done. Like, I even liked Kills, even though everyone hates it for... Well, I mean, I can see their reasons, but I mean, I liked it. I thought it was all right. But I cannot defend Halloween Ends. Halloween Ends basically, even if you didn't like Halloween Kills, at least it felt like a sequel to 2018, the 2018 one. At least it felt like a sequel to that. At least it continued setting up stuff from the timeline already. If you don't know, the new timeline is Halloween 1978, Halloween 2018, Halloween Kills, and Halloween Ends. And it's been, I think up to Ends, it was a really good timeline that was going to give us some answers to Michael Myers, unlike the answers we've gotten in other timelines. But then Halloween Ends basically said, you know what, instead of doing a film that feels like the end of the franchise, possibly, instead of something that feels like the end of the timeline, instead of something that answers all of the questions that they've set up, everything that they've been setting up, possibly Michael saying something, us seeing his face, like, now, because they've been blurring it in the past two movies. It's like to keep like a mystery, I guess. You know, maybe we'll finally see that in this timeline. Besides in the original movie. You know, maybe we'll get an explanation for why Michael won't fucking die when any other human being would. Maybe we'd get an explanation for why he loves murder, besides, you know, just I mean, actually, I didn't even care about that. I don't think anybody cares about that. It's just like, hey, he likes to fucking murder. That's like he's evil. But, like, we needed explanation for why he wouldn't die. We needed to, like, see, like, we needed to hear him finally say something, possibly, or like at least address why he won't say anything. We needed to, like, maybe see his face. I mean, there's no point to not show his face at this point, like, but you know, everything that they set up in the last two movies, they basically said, fuck that, we're not addressing any of it. Any questions you have, we're only going to give you, like, maybe like slight little hints, but literally nothing that interesting. Basically, they were like, hey, instead of ending off our series like we wanted to, like it's literally called Halloween Ends, let's basically have Michael Myers not even be like the main antagonist. Well, he kind of is, but he's not even in it as much as the other antagonist, who, by the way, whose name is Corey, which I thought was really funny when I was seeing it in the theater. Corey is in it more than Michael Myers, and not and that would be fine if he was like one of the main characters, like main protagonist. But no, he's one of the antagonists. But it's a Halloween movie. We shouldn't, unless we're talking about Halloween 3, we shouldn't be seeing any other villain other than Michael Myers in it more than him. They tried to do something new with like another killer, kind of like let me think. Kind of like Friday the 13th Part 5. But the difference is Friday the 13th Part 5, he was the main antagonist of it. But that's not what this was. This was where Michael Myers was in it, but for some reason he didn't even feel like the main antagonist. Like, we fucking, like, I don't even, like, understand what they were doing. Why did you pick this movie to do something like that? Why? And the thing is, there's so many unanswered questions in this movie. Like, I don't even understand why I don't know the answer to why they did this. I don't know why Corey decided to, like, team up with Michael Myers. Like, basically, they start off the movie showing that he accidentally killed somebody, and basically the whole town, like, hates him for it. This was, like, a year after Michael Myers, and, you know, he hasn't been Michael Myers hasn't been around for like 4 years at this point of the movie, so they use him as the new scapegoat. But that doesn't explain why he teams up with Michael Myers. Like, it seems like such a big change in character for no reason. Like, I understand like how like sometimes like killers like become like to the point where they embrace their title by people and actually become the title that they've given them. But there feels like no setup for this. And the partial reason for that is because this movie feels so fast. It feels so quick. Not only did they like actually like I feel like they rushed when they were making it, the movie itself feels like a rushed thing. Like there's no time for me to absorb stuff because it's so quick. It doesn't feel that long. And on the same note, it doesn't feel like a sequel to the other movies in the timeline. This does not feel like a sequel to Kills. It feels like a completely different movie. And like the town of Haddonfield, like the main setting of the Halloween movies, it doesn't feel like it. It doesn't feel like it at all. It doesn't feel like the Haddonfield we saw in the Halloween 2018 and Halloween Kills. It doesn't. I know 4 years have passed since Halloween Kills, but the town shouldn't change as much as it did. It felt so empty. It felt like a stereotypical like Massachusetts town. It felt kind of like fucking Brockton. Like it didn't feel like Haddonfield, Illinois. Like I was watching, I was like, okay, I don't recognize any of this. None of this looks anything like Haddonfield. There was no returning locations. There was nothing. We didn't see the Myers house. We didn't see. They didn't even like show us like Laurie Strode's home from the first movie. Like, you know, I mean, they didn't need to, but like, I mean, at that point, if you're not going to show anything else, like you could at least show us that to bring us some sort of feeling that we're in Haddonfield. But there wasn't. It felt so empty. Like, it's fine to show us new locations, but there was no old locations, and we need to have. And the new locations should at least make us feel like we're in Haddonfield still. But it didn't feel like the Haddonfield style. And like I said, there's so many unanswered questions. Like, what the hell, like, happened between Michael Myers and Corey to cause them both to team up? They didn't explain that. Like, why did he, I just don't get it. Let me see, what else? Like, I feel the most rushed thing in the movie is Michael Myers' actual, like, attack on Laurie. Basically, right after Laurie kills Corey, right after that happens, Michael shows up. He was stalking Corey. Corey stole his mask from him. I don't even know how he fucking overpowered Michael, by the way. Corey, I don't understand that. Basically, we see that Michael is still weak at, like, the beginning, because, like, he's 65 years old at this point. But when he kills that guy with Corey, he goes back to himself. You can visibly notice, like, physical changes to him, back to, like, how he was in Kills in 2018. So there's no reason that Corey should have been able to overpower him at all. There's no reason for that. Basically, he finishes off Corey and then attacks Laurie. But it doesn't feel proper. Basically, Laurie goes through this character change, like, off-screen in that 4-year time span in between. And it feels so weird and rushed, because basically she gets to this point where she's not, like, obsessed with, like, Michael. And that's cool and everything, but at the same time, it feels so weird. They didn't do it right. Like, I don't... It just didn't feel right. And, like, the whole time, like, she's trying to stop... So, Laurie's trying to stop Corey from getting with her granddaughter, because she knows that he's, like, going down a dark path. She can tell, because, you know, her whole life has been obsessed with a serial killer, and so she knows when she sees one, and pretty much, it doesn't feel like that, though. It doesn't feel like she's trying to stop it because he's a serial killer. It feels more like she's trying to, like, her entire attitude feels more like she's trying to stop her granddaughter from getting with Corey because she just doesn't like him. It's weird. Like, there's times where it feels like that, but, like, then she'll be like, you really thought you could get with my granddaughter? Like, where does that line goes, nothing, there's no point to that line in the plot. Like, that seems so weird. That doesn't seem like you trying to stop a serial killer from getting with your granddaughter. That feels like you just being jealous or something. Like, I don't get it. Anyways, like I was saying earlier, the confrontation between Laurie and Michael feels so improper. The fight is so fast and quick, and it shouldn't be. And maybe part of that is because Michael is barely, like, even noticed throughout the film. Like, he kills any witnesses besides Corey. So because that's happening, nobody really knows that Michael's back, but that's what the movie should have been, is Michael's back on a killing spree. It shouldn't have been him and Corey teaming up and secretly murdering people. Like, it feels like nobody even cares about Michael Myers anymore because of Corey. But, like, Michael shows up, and Laurie does kill him. It's like, wow, that's awesome, but that's about the only awesome thing in there, is that she finally kills him. She finally does what any of these characters should have done, and slit his throat and his wrists. Like, how did it take this long for you motherfuckers to do that? Like, there's been so many times where, like, he's been vulnerable enough for you to do that, and you just haven't done it. Anyways, and then when everyone finds out that she killed Michael, it doesn't feel that big a deal. It really doesn't feel like that big a deal, like, at all. They have this whole thing where the entire town shows up. By the way, they don't show how they fucking did that either. That felt rushed too. There's so many moments in this movie that feel rushed, where it's like you could have taken your time and made this movie longer, and we would have gotten more detail and more just, like, time to set this up, but they didn't. And that's especially at the end when they finally, like, put Michael to rest. And, like, pretty much, I don't... There's so much they could have done to set that up, but they didn't. It's just everyone shows up and they put him in his body in a shredder to make sure he's officially dead. It's like, wow. And there's no, like, big thing with, like, it doesn't feel that big a deal. Because, like I said, the town still feels so empty, even though we see all these people. Because the town doesn't feel like the town. It doesn't. And Michael literally, like, how do I even put this? Like, and then after he's dead, that's really it. It doesn't, like, the only thing we see after that, like, talking about it, is, like, a news report. It's like, there should be a much bigger thing than that. That should be a much bigger deal. This dude, at this point in this universe, is probably the biggest serial killer of all time. Like, he murdered, like, I don't even know how many people in that one, on the 2018 night of Halloween. Like, he murdered at least 30 people, because he murdered, like, around 30 people in kills, and that's the same night as the one in 2018. So he killed over 30 people in one night. Why does this not feel like as big as it should be? God, and guys, don't even get me started on, like, some of the bad dialogue. Like, I already talked about Laurie's bad dialogue, but holy shit, one of the worst. So there's a scene, like, the biggest, like, kill scene in the movie is when Corey kills all of those bullies that have been, like, harassing him. He kills all of them at the junkyard where he works, with the Michael Myers mask that he stole from Michael. Everyone wanted that. He kills all of them, but it's such a stupid scene with so many stupid lines and shit. Like, the worst one, like, there's this, one of them is trapped under a fence, that Michael knocked down onto them, and one of the friends comes over, and is like, I don't even remember the main bully's name, but this other character is like, he's dead, and then the one under the fence is like, you're dead too. And then she gets stabbed by Michael. It's like, who would say that? Who would say that? They'd say, look out, not, you're dead too. That's so stupid. That's something, like, that you would hear, like, one of the villains say, not like what, like a ghost killer from like a Conjuring movie, not like a victim of Michael Myers. The acting is also really dry in that scene. Like, not just that, like, the main bully, like, just does not sound convincing at all. Like, he notices his friends, he's like, oh god, he's dead. Like, I don't think he said exactly that. I can't remember the way he said it, but I just remember my feeling of, like, just like, what? When he said it, like, the way he said he's dead just did not sound convincing at all. It didn't sound like he just found his friend dead with like a knife in his eye. It did not. Guys, this just the entire movie feels like a prank. That's what it feels like. It feels like we're being pranked by Blumhouse, and Blumhouse like is gonna come out and be like, "Hey guys, we got you. Here's the actual Halloween Ends." But they're not. They're not doing that. This is it. This is actually the movie that they released. Wow, I'm at a loss for words. I had so much hope for this movie, so much hope for this timeline, but this almost like spoils it for me. Like it just it's I cannot believe it. It does not feel like the same style of the rest of the timeline of 2018 and Kills. It doesn't feel like the same style. It doesn't feel like the same universe. It doesn't feel like the same characters. It does not feel like the conclusion that we deserved. And honestly, everyone was joking about like, oh, hey, this probably isn't the end. They're gonna make another one soon. And honestly, like, everyone obviously didn't want that to happen. But honestly, I would really prefer it if they made like some actual proper conclusion. Like, is that sad? That's really sad that I actually want them to make another one in the franchise instead of just letting it end. That's really sad. That's how much I hated this movie. Is that I cannot believe that this is how it's ending. This series does not deserve to end like this. Whatever. So that's it. That's my review of Halloween Ends. That's how I'm making my return, I guess. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one.